The other big takeaway, and I don't think that Kyle Shanahan is giving Brandon Aiyuk's importance to this offseason, to Brock Purdy's development, to Brock Purdy's offseason, to just the team's, connectivity, if I could borrow a word from the Golden State Warriors, Larry. He talked about Brandon Aiyuk in such glowing terms. It made me just think that, Kyle's desire is to get Brandon Aiyuk back. And I do think that that's what they're working on right now. And more than anything, for those who want to say, well, never take any coach's word just on its face value. I don't think he's talking to Brandon Aiyuk to increase trade value. I don't think Brandon Aiyuk is the type of player who needs a coach talking him up to, create a market for him. Brandon Aiyuk is in his prime. He's a coveted player. And I think the team that covets him the most and should is the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I think the Niners, this is not their first rodeo, right? Now Lynch has been through this. Parag's been through this. Shanahan's been through this. They understand how to play the game. They don't have an unlimited budget. It's a finite, very finite salary cap. So you say everything that you feel, but you spend only what you can spend. So I don't draw any correlation at all between what they say and what they may do with Brandon Aiyuk. He did say it was huge to have, for Purdy to have a connection like he has with Aiyuk. That was one thing he pointed out. He also said he ran into Aiyuk in Cabo. And I don't know if I would believe that they just automatically ran into each other. Something said, hey, you know what? You're going to go be in Cabo. Let's meet down there. And then when Shanahan was asked about kind of his approach to the negotiations, he said, be patient. It will work itself out. So it may work itself out and they may come to some common ground, or it may not. And the wide receiver market could escalate way beyond their means, and they could wind up trading him. And it sounds like if that scenario comes up, they're at least having conversations with teams and looking at prospects that would be there in the middle of the first round. And then I think the one, I don't know if you want to call it revelation, but the one thing that I think does kind of ring true to me is that if they go through the entire first round and nobody's offered him anything, they're not trading him. They're not trading him for some combination of day 2 and day 3 picks and a player or this and that. Nobody's going to get an overwhelming bargain. They'll either bite the bullet and figure it out later, or they'll move him on draft day for a number 1.
Right. Any conversation for Aiyuk begins with a day 1 pick. And I just hope that they don't find that conversation because, man, I really thought at his little, table talk with reporters in that convention room in Orlando that Shanahan painted himself almost into a corner, Larry, about the importance of Aiyuk in this ultra important offseason for Brock Purdy, which is where we started the show, which to me, I don't think Kyle is blowing smoke when he's talking about the importance of Brock in a full off season. We know the coaches relish coaching moments. There is no bigger coaching moment than in an off season. So this is something that Kyle, I think, has prioritized. And I really do think that it affects decisions. And I think
it's good cop, bad cop. It's
yeah,
like Kyle's going to play the good cop. Kyle's going to play the good cop. Man, we love him. Oh, you kidding me? We love this guy. We absolutely love him. And who's going to play the bad cop? Parag. Parag's going to be like, hey man, we just can't do that.
But just the way that he painted himself into how important Aiyuk is for Purdy in this ultra important offseason. I just thought Kyle's smart enough to not position himself into a statement that could then be used against him because he knows that that's the way the media works. Kyle's been in this game long enough to know that he's not an oversharey guy. He's not a flowery, complimentary guy for guys who are on the edge of contracts, under contract, don't have a contract. Kyle is light with the compliments. And I just thought that he went way out of his way to link Aiyuk's presence to the importance of this offseason. And when you think about it, this is the 49ers, Larry, as far as this assembled group is concerned, this is their last best chance.
Well, and beyond that, let's pretend that all other seasons prior to the next one don't exist, because that's the way football coaches think. It's not about what you did last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's literally about what are you going to do next year. And if you ask me, of all the Niner weapons, who do I feel most confident in having a big year next year? I would take Aiyuk. He's younger, his body's younger than Debo's. His whole, mindset is Debo runs across the middle. Kittle's older. Debo's been used very liberally. McCaffrey's coming off of how many touches did McCaffrey have?
Too many.
This year?
Too many. Let's just call it too many touches.
Nearly 400 or 400, maybe more. I haven't looked, but a lot. So he's coming off of a career high touch mark. Juwan is more of a complimentary piece. Debo is been ridden hard and is not the same player that he was, or was hurt at the end of the year. Kittle definitely is on the wrong side of 30. So it's Aiyuk. So Aiyuk is the guy that, unless they add new guys, if you're just going off their old guys, he's the guy that is most likely to have the big monster bust out year, because he kind of had it last year, but he didn't see the ball enough. And so if he sees the ball 25% more this year, he's likely to have his career year.